Hello, we're at SIGGRAPH 2018, live from beautiful Vancouver. And on day 2 of the show, I'm happy to introduce Michael Kaplan of Nvidia. Thank you for joining us, Michael.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So, day 2, but really the show started for you much earlier. Nvidia has quite frankly been the talk of the town.
It sure has. A few days ago, we reinvented computer graphics with the introduction of the Turing architecture. It's been the most significant announcement since the CUDA GPU in 2006.
Okay. I would like to say you were understating it, but that does seem to be the feedback and the excitement from the show floor.
Sure. We introduced new technologies that have never been out before to enable real-time ray tracing, and for this industry, that's an amazing goal. So we introduced on the Turing architecture something that are called RT cores. So we actually have dedicated hardware to perform these ray tracing tasks, and that's how light bounces off objects and reflects off objects in the scene. It's very compute intensive. So this architecture brings the advancement of RT cores along with what we invented in the last generation technology, tensor cores. So it's a combination of real-time ray tracing and artificial intelligence to speed the scene and speed the rendering pipeline. It's been amazing. We are so pumped with the feedback that's taken place since we made that announcement. It's awesome.
So this is really going to open new doors for people. How do you see this changing people's workflow going forward?
Well, I mean, rendering happens everywhere, and typically it happens on a CPU. The ability to speed that up in a magnificent type of performance increase changes the game. They're able to do more iterations. They're able to get different render passes done in a quicker amount of time. Directionally, they can go in various ways. And I think instead of waiting overnight to see feedback, you can see it in real time in interactive mode. It's amazing.
That is amazing. And RTX also introduced at the show. There's crossover there, but do you want to tell a little bit
So we introduced, at the keynote, we introduced 4 RTX products. So I'll start low and go high.
Okay.
We introduced the Quadro RTX 5000, the RTX 6000, the RTX 8000.
There's a pattern.
And the RTX server.
Okay.
So, everything of these boards incorporating RT cores, tensor cores, frame buffer, which matters big time in rendering, has also increased all the way up to 48 gigs of texture memory on the RTX 8000, which has never been around in this industry before. We also are including and bringing along from previous announcements something called NVLink. NVLink is an interconnect that we have that enables 2 cards to be joined together to share not only texture memory, but also compute cores. So when you combine 8000s with NVLink, you get to a frame buffer size that most scenes done today in most studios can fit inside GPU texture memory, which is also just a major turning point.
Yeah, it's a very impressive release.
Yes.
And I'm also hearing just from people talking around the floor that even the terminology is changing.
Yes.
What has been introduced to the lexicon?
Well, it's interesting. Like artificial intelligence is kind of a buzzword, but you're actually seeing it take place in our architecture and the software partners we work with, right? So it's about the ISV ecosystem, and we're only as good as our software partners. So a lot of the software partners are incorporating AI techniques like denoising. We're showing a lot of other versions of AI in our booth, whether it's super slow-mo, additional denoising tools, but there's so much that we're going to do to bring to the market to take advantage of AI to speed things up in a traditional pipeline, right? Pipeline hasn't really changed too much, but we're adding things within every step to accelerate.
Yes, and people are already reacting to that and coming up with new terminology.
Absolutely.
To reflect that pipeline. And do you want to, just as we wrap up here at SIGGRAPH, talk about some of the partners who you worked with?
Absolutely. So a big shout out to Autodesk and the Arnold team, Chaos, V-Ray. We've been working with Redshift, and even Pixar has introduced and talked about some things for their future. But everybody, Clarice Isotropics, there's so many partners from an ISV standpoint. I know I'm missing some today.
Yes, and apologies to whoever was.
A lot of them, but thank goodness to all of their help and support for us, because with them we are pushing the envelope, and the end user customer base is going to be the ones that win.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, Michael, thank you for joining us this morning
and
sharing a little bit about what you guys are up to at NVIDIA with our folks watching out there. So thank you very much. Thank you to our guest, and that's us signing out from SIGGRAPH 2018.